Coming in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's all right. I was just leaving, Noah. Chin up, huh?
What's going on?
Dad?
May I? Am I throw this in the wastebasket where it belongs, and can we go on fighting?
Tired of fighting, Noah.
Then let me do it for you. A little late, maybe.
Noah. Noah, you've been terrific. Will you stop it?
No, I haven't. Actually, I haven't. But I intend to change that because I've already told Bradshaw that I will be appearing for you as a character witness.
You don't have to do that.
I know. I want to. Like it or not, you're going to have to sit there and listen to how wonderful and good
Noah.
you are. And how dedicated, how professional you are, and how incapable I think you are of failing to follow through on a doctor's orders.
Will you please stop?
No. I will be speaking not only as a friend, but as a doctor who admires your professionalism. You're a good nurse, Annie. I don't want to lose you. Hospital can't afford to lose you, and the medical profession can't afford to lose you.
You really mean all of this, don't you?
You betcha.
Remember the first hearing?
Yeah, I do. Hard to forget.
I was just about to hand that letter accusing Bradshaw to Steve. And I saw your eyes. Your eyes said everything. I looked right into them, and they said, Annie, cool it. Don't go for it. Don't do it. I listened to every single word your eyes said.
What do you see now?
Strength. Determination.
And what are they telling you?
They're telling me, Annie, go for it. Go ahead with the hearing.
Stay busy till 4.
You're the doctor, Doctor.
I am indeed.
Hi.
Well, where are you two going?
Back to work, we're off.
Good, good.
Hi. Hi.
Well,
Sanchez, call obstetrics on line 4. Dr. Sanchez, call obstetrics on line 4.
you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be.
We have a few minutes, you know.
Yeah, I know. Good luck, Anne. Thank you. Thank you. I'll need it. We're all rooting for you. Oh, thank you so much, both of you.
That's it.
Yeah. We were hearing and nobody came.
Yeah, we're a little early. We're a little early.
Yeah, and Joe is a little late.
Don't worry, don't worry. How you holding up?
I'm not a nerve in my body.
Oh, boy, I wish you didn't have to go through all this. So much of this is my fault.
Oh, don't be silly. Stop
No,
it.
It is. If I hadn't been so hard on you, have a little more confidence now. Come on.
Oh, Noah. Well, I guess you're right. It was a little rough there going without you by my side. It's hard to believe in yourself when you got someone thinking you're off your rocker.
I should never have doubted you.
Look, you are with me now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yep. I just wish I could make it up to you somehow.
You are. You are right now being with me. And most of all, because you believe in me. Even so, if I have to stand here one more minute, Noah, I am going to go absolutely crazy. Let's just go walk somewhere. I don't care. Just for a few minutes, all right?
All right, let's do it.
Great. Well, Joe's still not here.
Who is?
We got Arthur Bradshaw, Lee Baldwin, and some guy I never saw before.
All right, well, we might as well go in.
No, I want to wait for Joe.
Annie, come on, you're only making it hard on yourself. We may as well go in.
Just a few more minutes, okay?
With or without Joe, we're going to have to go in, you know. Come on.
Oh, I'm scared.
Believe it or not, so is Arthur Bradshaw.
Okay. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. All right.
Well, hello, Ann, Noah.
Good afternoon.
Miss Logan, Dr. Drake, this is Mr. Briggs.
How do you do? Pleasure.
As I am here in the capacity of advisor for the hospital, Mr. Briggs is here in that same capacity for Dr. Bradshaw. I understand Joe Kelly is going to advise you, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Why don't we sit down?
Good idea.
I suppose we should.
And, gentlemen,
Steve, this is Mr. Briggs.
how do you do, Dr. Hardy? Well, it's time to start, but it seems that not everyone is here yet, so I suggest that we...
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
As I was saying...
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Well, it now appears that all of our principals are here and seated.
Excuse me, Dr. Hardy.
Yes, Miss Logan.
My attorney, Joe Kelly, is not here.
Well, yes, according to Rick Weber, who will be here shortly, Joe Kelly will be over soon and represent you.
We would like to get on with things, Dr. Hardy.
Yes, I think we all would. But since Miss Logan's legal counsel, is not present right now, and should the proceedings become so technical that her position is not protected, I will call a halt to this meeting until Mr. Kelly arrives. Is that agreeable? Very well, then. This hearing is called order. It concerns the death of Mrs. Frances Newell. The original inquiry was held on Wednesday, April 7th, and was adjourned. We now resume it. At that time, Dr. Arthur Bradshaw charged Ann Logan with contributing to the death of the patient by failing to carry out his orders for a mini-dose of heparin prior to surgery. Nurse Logan has denied the allegation.
Allegations. That's what this here...
All areas is impeccable.
I really have to object to these comments, Dr. Hardy.
On what grounds, Mr. Briggs?
Well, Mrs. Hardy is the head of student nursing. She is not the head nurse. And as she's related to Miss Logan, her testimony is biased.
Excuse me, sir, but I happen to have with me a statement signed by Mrs. Brewer, who is head nurse, and you will see that she is of a similar opinion. Now, it is true that I'm related to Miss Logan, but I'm not biased when I say she believes and demonstrates the highest of moral values. She is a credit to this hospital and to the nursing profession.
Thank you.
Steve, I don't know if now's the time.
Yes, no.
Well, I would like to speak out on Ann's behalf, if I may.
Yes, this is the proper time, please.
All right, well, I'm a relative newcomer to the hospital. I have worked with Nurse Logan on several occasions. You've heard that she's trained very hard to become a scrub nurse. Her assistance in surgery has been superior and faultless, and she's also assisted Dr. Bradshaw as well as myself, each time rendering very valuable service in surgery. I would also like to say at this point that I admire Dr. Bradshaw very much, and I have known him for many years, and I owe my career to his influence. However, in the last several months, I've been aware of certain changes in him. Tenseness. Possibly pressures from his personal life.
I must object, Dr. Hardy. These comments are totally irrelevant. They constitute opinion, and personal opinion has no place in this hearing.
All right. I'll stay with the issue. It's the obligation of any doctor to review results prior to surgery. It's my belief that Dr. Bradshaw did not issue an order for heparin because the test results were delivered after he began surgery.
Objection. Again, opinion.
No, sir. No, sir. That is not opinion. It's a fact, and records prove it.
Will you explain that, Noah?
Yes, I will, sir. Test results clearly indicating a need for heparin were time-stamped, which is standard procedure. The time stamped on the test results was 1:15 p.m.
I fail to see how that explains anything.
It's positive proof, Mr. Briggs, that Dr. Bradshaw could not have seen these test results and, as recommended, ordered heparin before he began to operate.
Why do you say that?
Because as everybody in this room knows, the time surgery on any patient begins is stamped. And remembering that the test results were stamped 1:15, surgical record also stamped proves conclusively that Dr. Bradshaw's surgery began at 1:10. I emphasize 1:10, 5 minutes before he could have possibly seen any test results.
Understanding that this particular evidence has already been offered and refuted, Dr. Bradshaw ordered the heparin to be administered based on the patient's history of phlebitis. Any competent surgeon would have done the same with or without a lab report.
Anything about his being competent?
And we'll have our time, don't worry. Sir, you can't prove that either. What we are doing here is we're weighing one person's word against another person's word. Now, the word of a highly competent nurse whose ethics have never been questioned against those of a doctor who has demonstrated to just about everybody in this room that he's tired, tense, and overburdened with work of his own choice, a condition which could well impair his performance in the operating theater.
And that evaluation of Dr. Bradshaw is based on your own vast experience, I assume. Just how long have you been practicing, Doctor? A year? 2?
I don't see how the number of years of my practice can possibly have anything to do with my knowledge.
Let the man say what's on his mind.
For that matter.
I'm sorry, Dr. Hardy.
Noah has the floor.
Yes, I'm aware of that. But I am very grateful for him speaking in my defense. And to you too, Audrey, I just would like to speak for myself, if I may. To summarize, I would like to offer this affidavit sworn by the druggist who filled Mrs. Newell's birth control pills. I would like to add that the druggist had no idea that he was putting Mrs. Newell in any sort of danger whatsoever. I believe that Dr. Bradshaw is guilty of negligence in the death of Frances Newell, not because of the surgery that he performed, and not because of the heparin that was or was not administered. I think the heparin may not have affected the outcome, although we can hope it might have. I believe that Dr. Bradshaw's negligence, the fact that he failed to take Mrs. Newell off birth control pills, which was in her history. And that's all I have to say.
Steve? Well, go ahead, Alan.
And you said that the patient listed birth control pills in her medical history?
Yes, I believe she did.
May we examine the record?
I wish we could, Dr. Quartermain, but you see, that page of her history is missing. To be exact, it has been ripped out of her file.
And you mean deliberately stolen?
Yes.
Well, has anyone tried to find it?
Well, as a matter of fact, we made an exhaustive search for it, and we cannot turn it up anywhere.
And do you have any idea who took it?
Began practice.
And now, I must object, Counselor. We're not here to discuss a feud between a doctor and a nurse. At least the agenda seemed to indicate that we were here to try to discover if there has been professional negligence.
Nevertheless, Joe, it is common knowledge that Ann and Dr. Bradshaw have been at loggerheads ever since his arrival in Fort Charles. And I think the nature of this feud is relevant to this case and ought to be explained.
Ann, would you care to comment on that?
It was purely personal at first. A clash of personalities, I would say. But I would never let that influence me in obeying my orders as a nurse. Later on, it became much more than a personal matter.
Ann, would you please explain exactly what you mean by that?
Gladly. My concern about Dr. Bradshaw's professional conduct began when I started observing the way he was treating his patients.
Well, Anne, can you name those patients?
Mrs. Lamacchia, Ruby Anderson, and then, of course, Mrs. Frances Newell. I became convinced that Dr. Bradshaw had to be stopped before he went on endangering the lives of other women.
Ann, you're aware that you're accusing Dr. Bradshaw of very serious charges. I advise you to proceed with caution.
can only say that I believe my charges to be true, and if anyone here does not believe them, let Dr. Bradshaw stand up and say that he did not know that Mrs. Newell was taking birth control pills. Let him deny that he did know. He didn't discontinue them, yet he operated and she died. Let him stand up right now and tell this hearing that after she died, due to his negligence, he did not try to do everything he could to cover up the fact of sheer carelessness. He did not try to falsify records to conceal the fact that he did not discontinue the birth control pills.
Dr. Bradshaw will be given ample opportunity to respond to the allegations if he so desires. But to get the full record on the table, I will ask at this time if anyone else wishes to speak in defense of Ann Logan.
Come on, Heather. It's now or never.
Heather, this is a closed meeting. Did you want something?
Yes, Dr. Hardy. I heard you ask if anyone wanted to speak in Ann's defense.
So I did. Do you know of anyone who does?
Yes, I do.